Grammar Girl here. Today, guest writer Bonnie Trenga is going to help us talk about pronouns that don't clearly match up with the nouns they're supposed to replace. Readers become unhappy when they have to guess what noun a writer is talking about, or they may even chuckle if a pronoun seems to match up with the wrong noun. Later, you'll hear some sentences that are funny, all because of little pronouns. If you're a regular listener, you'll remember that last week we talked about subject and object pronouns. If you missed it, you can find it at quickanddirtytips.com. It's Grammar Girl episode 209. Pronouns take the place of nouns. For example, I and we are pronouns that appear in the subject position, as in, we wrote a hit song. Think of pronouns as stuntman or women, filling in for nouns when the going gets tough, or just when nouns get tired. The pronouns me, him, her, you, us, them, and it must be in the object position, as in the batter hit the ball, to me. Other pronouns you might encounter are possessive pronouns, such as hers and mine, and indefinite pronouns, such as anyone and somebody. You'll run into even more kinds of pronouns, but we don't have time to list them exhaustively here, and you're probably glad we don't. But whatever kind of pronoun you have, the pronoun takes the place of a specific noun you've already mentioned. The noun that a pronoun refers to is called an antecedent. That's spelled A-N-T-E, not A-N-T-I. Anti with an I is a prefix meaning against, as in antisocial. Anti with an E is a prefix for things that go before other things. Antemortem means before death, for example. So the anti with an E in antecedent makes sense because it refers to the noun that goes before the pronoun. In the sentence, the driver totaled his car, the word his refers back to driver, so driver is the antecedent of the pronoun his. It would sound silly to repeat the noun, the driver totaled the driver's car. So in simple sentences like this, readers are clear on what pronoun is replacing what noun. On the other hand, when you have a complicated sentence or a series of sentences, your antecedent may get lost or may even be absent, and readers can get confused. Let's look at 3 common pronoun antecedent problems. Our first antecedent problem concerns antecedents that are missing or very far away from their corresponding pronouns. For example, it would be incorrect to write, "Here at work they expect us to show initiative." In this case, they does not refer back to any plural noun. Those lurking bosses are implied, but not actually mentioned. Therefore, the antecedent is missing. To solve this particular error, we just need to name who they is. Our bosses expect us to show initiative. Now for the first of those silly sentences we promised you. This one comes courtesy of the useful grammar desk reference. Breathe in through your nose, hold it for a few seconds, and breathe out through your mouth. That crazy sentence illustrates how easy it is for readers to accidentally think that the antecedent is the noun closest to the pronoun. When they read, breathe in through your nose, hold it for a few seconds, the pronoun it seems to refer to nose, the singular noun closest to the word it. However, the writer didn't mean for you to hold your nose. What's missing here is a clear antecedent, your breath. In this case, you hold your breath, not your nose. For some reason, the pronouns it and they seem to be especially tempting to use without an antecedent, or with the wrong antecedent, as you saw in the last 2 examples, so be especially vigilant around them. It and they also seem to be likely to appear far from their antecedents. Making your reader search through an entire paragraph to find the antecedent for a lagging it or they won't endear you to your audience. So when you use an it or they, make sure a specific and definite antecedent is nearby. Our second antecedent problem is what's called anticipatory reference, which Brian Garner calls, quote, the vice of referring to something that is yet to be mentioned, end quote, meaning that the writer puts the pronoun before the antecedent, a no-no. Whoever came up with the phrases "don't put the cart before the horse" and "don't count your chickens before they hatch" could have been talking about pronouns that appear before their antecedents. For example, if you say, "If it's available, be sure to order champagne," your readers will wonder what it refers to at the beginning of the sentence. Only when readers get to the end of the sentence do they learn that it means champagne. To avoid confusing your readers, make sure the antecedent comes first. In many cases, you can solve the problem by switching around the noun and pronoun. If champagne's available, be sure to order it. The third and last antecedent problem concerns ambiguous antecedents. Pronouns pop up in almost every sentence, and sometimes readers may feel as if they're juggling. They're trying to remember which nouns have already been mentioned so that they can correctly match them up with later appearing pronouns. Don't turn your readers into a circus act. Your job is to provide a pleasurable and easy reading experience. Take this odd pair of sentences in which we meet an ambiguous antecedent. The room contained a chair, a desk, and a lone light bulb. It was 26 feet long by 17 feet wide. Well, that's a pretty big light bulb. The pronoun it could, in theory, refer to various singular nouns in this sentence: room, chair, desk, or light bulb. Naturally, readers pair it with light bulb, the closest singular noun, so you get an absurd sentence. In this case, repeating the antecedent could help, but it sounds awkward. The room contained a chair, a desk, and a lone light bulb. The room was 26 feet long by 17 feet wide. A better move is to combine the sentences. The room, 26 feet long by 17 feet wide, contained a chair, a desk, and a lone light bulb. Here's the last promised ridiculous sentence, this one quoted from a church bulletin and featured in Sin and Syntax by Constance Hale. I hope this odd sentence will convince you to monitor your pronouns more carefully. The ladies of the church have cast off clothing of every kind, and they can be seen in the church basement Friday afternoon. The pronoun they finds itself in an awkward position. Does it refer to the ladies or the clothing? Well, we can guess that items of clothing is the intended antecedent, but it doesn't appear that way. Of course, there's the other problem with that sentence. One could also interpret it to mean the church ladies are running around in their birthday suits, but we'll save that problem for another day. In summary, pronouns seem fairly easy to use, but don't let them lull you into a false sense of security. Start monitoring your pronouns and ensure they have an unambiguous antecedent that is both before and near each pronoun. This podcast was written by Bonnie Trenga, author of The Curious Case of the Misplaced Modifier. That's all. Thanks for listening.